Good foggy morning, besties. It's foggy because there's steamy water in here, and we are going to be washing up some more clung forest. Now, because I'm going to wash it, I'm going to dye it, but I also did this. This is brown BFL and white BFL, and I did two singles, applied them together, and then I'm going to dye them. Now I made sure I had some extra white so that I could do a section of just white. And then we have this Humbug barber pole one. We're going to dye the whole thing, and you'll be able to see how the colors change and vary with a dark fleece and a light fleece. So I'm going to get everything washed up, and I'll be back when it's time to dye. That sounds really ominous, but I'll let it stand. We have our fleece in its last wash, and then we'll go for a rinse. And I have my skein of hand spun soaking here. So now we're going to get our colors ready. And I have decided, just because I can, and I'm like that, we're going to use the periwinkle and the vivid violet. We're getting some interesting lighting in here with the sun coming through. It's probably the first time I've seen the sun in days. All right, so I'm gonna use 1/8 of a teaspoon of each. Ooh, that's so pretty. Make sure I don't cross-contaminate my dyes. And 1/8 of a teaspoon of the periwinkle. Well, it's actually a little more than 1/8 of a teaspoon, but we will count it as close enough. Oops. And I'm going to add some citric acid into those as well. Ooh, I'm finally almost done with my bag. Just adding a teaspoon of citric acid to each. And the water is almost boiled, so we can mix them up. That's probably hot enough. Just give it a little splash to start. I'm going to add it to 2 cups of water. That periwinkle looks so weird in the cup. It changes so much when you add it to the fiber. Okay. Oh, I've got my crystal show going in the background there. You can probably hear it. There, I'll just settle that down. Look at that vivid violet. Oof. Oof, 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 oof. Okay, we'll bring that up to 2 cups. All right, there we go. We have got our dyes mixed, and my timer is about to go off for my fleece. I'm going to get that taken care of, and I will be back, and we will dye some fiber. It's my favorite time. Let's add color. I'm going to move down a bit so we can get some more sunshine on this, and move you down a little bit. Okay, there we go. All right, so here is the periwinkle. Ooh, it's running away. And this is the vivid violet. Is that what I called it? Yes, vivid violet. Now, I chose these two because tonally they're going to be different. but they are a bit of a homogeneous blend as well. It's like the periwinkle is fading, I don't know, growing into the vivid violet. Anyways, there's that. Now I'm going to just mix up a little bit more citric acid. All right, a little bit more citric acid. Just kind of gonna slosh this around a little bit so some of the color can get underneath. Hey, let go, let go. Right. And I'm gonna shove this in the oven for probably, I don't know, 15-20 minutes. And then we will be back to see how it's doing. Let's see what we got hiding in the oven. Let me just adjust this. There, you can see a little better that way. Ooh, this is looking so pretty. Still got quite a bit of dye left in there. How are we doing on this end? This end is much better. But look at, I think that is so pretty. Oof. It makes me happy. Now, I do believe that the violet is going to be a hard one to exhaust. So I'm going to grab some dye soppers. Let me see what I have. All right, I have this. It's not marked, but I'm guessing this is a BFL, and it is going in. I'm just trying to use up some of my odds and sods of fleece that I have in various corners of the house. So I'm just sort of grabbing them as the time comes and using them as dye soppers. Look at how pink it's coming out. Oof. This is underneath. Pretty good. Ooh, we're going to have some little patches of pink in there from that vivid violet. All right, let's cook this for another 15, and then we will wash it out and get it out to dry. Here is our Clun Forest, and it is dry enough to start combing, so I'm going to do that. Now, I'm just learning about these dyes. I haven't used them much. So this side is the periwinkle. You can see how it has the nice dark colors. And this is the vivid violet. Now, what I'm learning with the vivid violet is, number one, it breaks quite a bit. It's very nice. I love the tones in it, but it does break, as you can see. And I'm exhausted trying to exhaust it. The pink does not want to absorb. It just hangs around forever. But it's still a lovely color. And I think that the bluer tones of the periwinkle mesh so well with the purple tones in the vivid violet. Like, there is purple in the periwinkle. And I think that it will make lovely roving. I'm going to get my comb set up and we're going to comb some of this. It's not all dry, but it's dry enough to comb. I'll be right back. Well, it's time for me to change my leader on my bobbin because this one has become so short it doesn't even get through the orifice. So I'll just cut the ends of that off. And what I have here is a sock yarn, and I'm going to use this to make my new leader. So first I have to measure it out. And I hate making leaders, so usually I make them extra long so that they can be cut several times. So if I go from the back of the mother of all to my stomach, I get about that much length. So then I'm going to take that times 3. All right, now I'm going to tie the 2 ends together. But I don't want that to be coming out of my orifice. So I'm going to trim that up to the knot. Just leave a little end on there. And I'm going to make that the middle of my loop. Okay, so then take your loop, go around your bobbin and through the middle. All right, so that's your first one, but it's going to slide rather than catch. So go take a loop this way. I'm trying to see if you can actually see what I'm doing. Okay, so take your loop, go under and through, and tighten that up. And then for good measure, I usually go the other way as well. And then that should keep it tight on your bobbin so it doesn't just turn on the shaft. And then we have a brand new leader to work with. And it's long enough that I'll be able to cut the ends off a couple of times because as you use it, the end gets worn out. So this will last me a long time. And I'm ready to spin. Let's have a look at some results. So with just one comb of each of the fibers, I need this yarn. You can see the periwinkle is the darker blue and the vivid violet is the more purple. But together they made this really lovely yarn, and it's quite springy. Spring, spring. I really like it. I think it turned out just fabulous. But you can see that the color is tonal. It's not just a solid color. There's lights and darks, and it just makes it a more interesting yarn. And then we have our skein that we spun, then dyed, and here it is. So you can see how the colors in the brown and white Humbug, they're more muted. If you put them next to just the white, it's very different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ball up this yarn so we can see all the colors next to each other and have another look at it. So give me a little bit of time and I'll get this balled up. One more thing I forgot to show you. This ended up being my dye soppers. So you can see that the pink in the vivid violet really doesn't want to exhaust. So this was the first dye soppers I added in and make it this beautiful fluorescent pink. And then it still wasn't exhausting, so I added some more and I got this nice soft rose. This fiber is so soft. It's definitely BFL, but it's going to make some really pretty roving. I think I might keep them separate. I might blend them. I don't know yet, but this is more fiber to process. Yay! All right, back to what I was doing. And here it is, all balled up. So you can see when you look at the end of a ball of yarn, you can more or less see how the colors are going to interplay with each other in the finished project. Oh, there's Bobo. Come say hi. There's your cat tax. You're a mess, my boy. Were you wrestling out in the catio? Okay, where were we? Yes, we were discussing how if you look at the end of a ball of yarn, it'll give you an idea of how it will look when it's worked up. Of course, the lines of color are going to be shorter because you'll be making stitches with them, but it gives you an idea. And here's the side. And I'm actually kind of in love with this because it's dark and moody, but with light colors. So it makes for a really interesting interplay of the white and the brown and the dyes. And I think it's really cool. And I did do up a sample of just white. So you can see how same dye bath, same fiber, it's all BFL. But you can see the difference that adding that brown in makes. Because this is like a very pastel-y palette. Pastel-y. Pastel-y is a word. You can see how dark the whole tone takes. But it's exactly the same dyes. And frankly, this would be my preference. But just to give you an idea of how you can interplay color with natural colors and whites and all that fun stuff, just to make something new and unique to you. Now, I could have dyed the fiber first and then spun it, but this way I get those actual full stripes of color, and I really like that. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little experiment, and I shall see you in the next one. Dr. Chaos, out!